What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XRP today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 16th day of August, and here we are with about 22 hours and 40 minutes left in the day, sitting here at $3.09, just below there. Trying to find the low. Have we found our low? I think we have at this point. I think we have. The fact that we didn't move lower yesterday does instill a little confidence in me that we have found our low. It's a bit of a double bottom here. This, what do they call that? A tweezer bottom, right? You've seen these kind of lows before, and you know they amounted to some kind of a bounce. You still went lower, whatever. Maybe we do bounce here and they go lower, but at the moment, I would think we find some kind of support. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the low, though, and we don't go lower, because we did find some support back here, and this is where we found resistance before as well. So it just, in this area, it makes a lot of sense that we'd find support there. You know, we don't have to, and if we do go lower, it's fine. But looking at the RSI overall in the daily time frame, it's pretty damn bullish. Pretty damn bullish indeed. And I don't think that we'll spend too much time below the 50 here. I want to throw some other indicators on here before we get underway. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame, and then we'll zoom out from there, okay? 1 hour time frame. MACD looks like it's set to come up and cross above the zero. We'll see, but it looks pretty good. We'll see. Stochastics look like they want to get overbought, carrying the price higher. RSI, what I don't like about the RSI is you do have higher highs here and a bit of a double top at that with lower highs in the price, but you did answer that pretty quickly. You started to move up again over this past hour. So let's see how this one closes. We got about 39 minutes left, so we've got a good bit of this hour left in us. We very well could continue to go higher, and I do like, you know, it doesn't look like this on the 1 hour. Let's go on the 30-minute time frame. It might seem more obvious. This nice little Eve and Adam shape here that you have, right? Can you see it? It's like a double bottom. It's a classic kind of double bottom. Pair that with the chopsticks, the tweezer bottom that we have on the daily time frame. I like this low. I like it a lot. What I like a lot about it is we're on the XRP USDT chart on Binance, right? The highest exchange by volume in the world for crypto. The USDT pair specifically has the highest amount of volume for any traded pair in crypto, typically. And we had an increase in volume on this move down, but we didn't go anywhere. And the volume that we increased with, it was pretty insignificant in comparison to what we saw back here, right? So increasing in volume, it doesn't look like it, but you can see you clearly did increase in volume as you're coming down, but you didn't go anywhere. You didn't see a lower low. You didn't really go anywhere at all. You closed below, you had all the right things going for you, and then boom, V-shaped recovery. At least as of now, it's a V-shaped recovery. Maybe you tapered off a little bit, but that's okay. I think you could still continue going higher. Absolutely, you could. On a small scale here, you had the same kind of thing, V-shaped. You moved sideways, and then you moved up. I was actually looking at this on the 15-minute time frame. I feel like this, it literally looks the same, just at a larger scale here, right? You moved up like this, and then did this, and then you continued to move higher. Moved up like this, and then did this, and then you continued probably to move higher. And even if we look at the indicators, the RSI here kind of dilly-dallying in this range, the same range that we're dilly-dallying now. I don't know, makes sense to me. The MACD even looks pretty similar right here. Just connecting some dots. Maybe they deserve to be connected, maybe they don't. But looking at the 1 hour time frame, I don't mind the RSI. If you were asking me about 4 hours ago, I would have had a problem with it. I would have called for us to go lower, but we didn't. We went lower. That was a pretty bearish candle, but what? We didn't go lower. We had all the right things going for us. We had all the right things going here, and we didn't go lower. MACD looks good. Stochastics look good enough. You know, maybe we go higher. 4 hour time frame here. A little bit of bullish divergence on the MACD with the histogram there. What I do like as well is that we've got this descending trend line here from a low to a low here, connecting the dots. And what we did was we went just below that trend line. You guys know how I feel about that, right? These trend lines, these diagonal trend lines, typically you find support just below them, right? People expect that you bounce right off of them, and that means you find support, but it's typically once you go just below them, people capitulate. We're breaking out, we're going down, it's all over, and then you start to move up higher. I don't like that we came back and found support at it, but I guess support's better than breaking through, right, at the end of the day. And it's very possible that we could go lower. Understand we could, and if we do go lower, where would we go from a low to a high? Let's see. You know, we could go to 295, 296, 291. We could go to anything and everything in between there, right? The golden ratio. It's a very possible outcome. I'm not completely convinced of that at the moment, though. And looking at the 1 hour time frame, I kind of do think we go higher. Let's look at the 4 hour. I like the bounce off the oversold zone. That's a perfect bounce off the oversold zone, you guys. Even if we do end up going lower, you know, lower lows, lower highs here, I would think we come up to the 50 and reject before we actually go lower, which would imply that we see a price, you know, something up at about like $3.20, $3.14 above there, something like that. I would think before moving lower. The 4 hour RS or the MACD, other than the bullish divergence, it's not really giving me too much. I don't like the cross below the 0, but I don't know if that means too much because we're kind of being boring, and this is the 4 hour time frame, so it's kind of less significant. You look like you've got an inverse head and shoulders pattern to some degree, right? I don't know if I would call it that. It almost looks like it, but maybe not, right? Here's your left shoulder. Here's your head. And then here's your right shoulder, right? Could be a slanted pattern, slightly slanted to the upside. That's a pretty large right shoulder, though, and you look for a little bit more symmetry than that. And also the volume profile is all wrong, but I don't know, maybe. Maybe. It kind of looks like one. And with that, perhaps we are getting set up to see new all-time highs. I really wouldn't be surprised if XRP was on its way to new all-time highs and it found its low here. You don't need to go lower. I'm just saying if we went to 295, 290, cool, whatever, that's fine. Golden ratio zone, perfect. Do that. I dare you. Daily time frame. The RSI is neutral. Overall bullish. I would expect that we continue to grow. Stochastics at an area where you might look to bounce if you're in a bullish environment, typically. Okay. And the MACD building bearish momentum. The MACD actually looks bearish, and might be a little bit of causality to believe that we do go to the downside. I would say that if today closes red as well, especially if we close below these chopsticks here, if we close like below $3.02, I would say then that we're in a little bit of trouble, quote unquote. Nothing too crazy. Whenever I say trouble, I need to be careful with my words. I just mean going down to the golden ratio. Then instead of moving higher up to these $3.20 areas or above, maybe even up to new all-time highs, we'd move to 296, 291 first, and then move higher. So that's totally acceptable if we do that. Okay. Weekly time frame here. Lower highs, not a problem. The weekly time frame looks so good, man, overall. MACD's fine. Stochastics are great. RSI is great. Everything about it's great. So we're just waiting, man. We're waiting right here on the edge of our seats. It looks like a double top, but this double top's not topping. Have you guys ever seen a double top before? Let's see if we can find one. That's closer to a double top, but even that wasn't a double top. But you see how fast you rejected down? We don't have enough history to go through it all. That's like a double top right there. Tip, tip, that's a double top. You see the difference between that and what we're doing now? We're consolidating at prior resistance. Anybody telling you that this is a double top right here, either they don't know what they're talking about, or they're just too eager to see this thing move down and it's causing them to be wrong. Right? This is not a double top. I would think anyone who calls this a double top, they're probably new to the game as far as technical analysis goes. They might not be new to crypto, but probably. But this is not a double top. If you're calling it a double top, you are too eager. Absolutely too eager. Double top, by the way, would imply that we go below this area here. It would imply a lot of things. So, no, it's not a double top. Double top would imply rejection, and we have not rejected. We're just consolidating in this area. So, looks good to me. Looks like we will continue to build from here. The lowest I'd give us is probably like 295, 290, but I don't even think that we go down there at this point. So, time will tell. We'll see how it goes. Hit the like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I'll finish this video off the same way I normally finish it. We are inevitably going to $13 to $16. Someone asked me, how's that $13 to $16 price prediction going? And I'm like, it's going, man. We're here, right? We called for it way back here. We thought that it would be in June. We thought it'd be in July. Now we're thinking it's sometime in September. Whatever. Take your time getting there. I don't think anybody who's been accumulating XRP over the weeks, over the months, cares, right? As long as we get there. Like, the difference here, right? We're all the way up at $16, and it's July, like we had expected, or June, like I originally expected, or $16 or $13, or maybe now it's October. Let's say it's the end of October. I don't really think anybody's going to care. I don't think that anybody holding or stacking XRP is going to care. I'm assuming there will be just as much happiness here as there would be here. timing included in that, right? I don't think anybody's going to care. You're probably only going to have more money, right? Because you're only accumulating more. Definitely don't make any irrational decisions. Don't panic sell. Don't try and get fancy with trades. Don't chase any shiny objects that are pumping while XRP is chilling. Everything's going to take its turn, and this thing is definitely going to lead the pack whenever it's time. And I think it's going to be time soon enough. Between now and the end of the month, it's the 16th, guys. We're in the second half of the month right now. Between now and the end of the month, things should really start picking up. So take care. See you on the next one. Hit that like button on your way out. Bye-bye.